We're now in the second international break. Here's my Spurs season review so far in every single competition. So I'll be summarising it and giving my thoughts on what I made on how Thomas Frank's getting on his start to life as Spurs manager, how new signings are doing, and how the Spurs squad are doing. Generally, we'd be looking at that. I'm very keen to get you involved in this because, of course, as fans, the beauty thing is, that diverse and different opinions. So stay tuned to the end. If you're new, please do like and subscribe. Let's get straight into it. So, first thing I say, where Tottenham are across all competitions so far, and then we get into it. So, Premier League, Tottenham sit third place as things stand at the time of recording, going into, we're in now, that second international break, quite a way through it, with 14 points on the board, 2 points off leaders Arsenal. In the Champions League, Tottenham sit 9th with 4 points on the board, a win and a draw, so unbeaten in the Champions League, only one loss as well, by the way, in the Premier League, and into the round of 16 of the Carabao Cup, so that's equivalent to the fourth round, and it's Newcastle away that Tottenham face in round 4. So that is the thought so far. I'm going to generalise here and say so far happy, so far generally happy. I think firstly I want to focus on Thomas Frank. I think he's done a very good job and I don't think he gets the credit he deserves, because you said to any Tottenham fan, just go back a little while ago, even if you said in the summer, look, okay, Thomas Frank in charge, Maddison would get injured to be out for the season. We knew about Kulusevski, but the point is, Maddison being out for the time period it is, Kulusevski's still out. Of course, in recent years, lost Son and Kane. I just think Frank's done an amazing job to be where we were. The only caveat to that, as happy I've been with him, I just think you can't help but feel we should have more points on the board. Both looking at fixtures, but in particular the way we've played and the manner of the results. And what I mean by that is, for example, you look at the 2-2 draw against Brighton. We were 2-0 down, and in the end that's a good point. I don't know if it would have been the start of the day. I'd probably say maybe not anyway. I'm not 100% sure on that, but in the end it is a good point. But the 2 goals we concede are avoidable. That's the problem we've got. Again, Bodo Glimt, I think they look good, by the way. Looked a lot better than they did last year, but we got better than the 2-2 draw. But at the same time, you go 2-0 down. And it goes back to another thing that's impressed me, is that whole mentality of this group, that never kind of die attitude. I think a lot of it comes from winning a trophy under Ange, and they're now winners, these guys, and have that kind of winning mentality. But I think Frank's also installed a never kind of die attitude, because he had that at Brentford as well. They'd start games well and they'd end games well. We haven't necessarily had to start well, we've had the end well so far. But again, look at Wolves. We wouldn't have been happy with 1-1 draw with bottom of the league Wolves, who are no points on the board, before we played them, but in the end we scraped a point. Again, that comes back to the whole mentality thing. So overall, really happy. I think Thomas Frank's a really good coach. I really wanted him. If I wanted to, before Ange Postecoglou was appointed, that's when I wanted Frank. So I think he was my first or second target at that point. I think it was Glasner, then Frank. I kind of almost stand by that in terms of those two are both amazing. But no, I think Frank's done very well. I think he was backed in the transfer window. We'll go as far as saying that. I think this is an exciting time to be a Spurs fan, in terms of we've got a really good coach. Andrew's a great manager, but Frank's a good coach. I just think Frank goes about things on a day-to-day kind of basis, and a better way of putting it actually is a game-by-game basis, where you just don't know what to get with Frank. And the downside to that, of course, is the new game plan. It might not work. It hasn't been trialled and tested, like Bournemouth, for example. He said that was a new game plan, that's a new way of playing. It didn't quite work, but I like the way we adapt to our opponents. I like Ange, very grateful for what he's achieved, but that was gun-ho, and you knew how to play Ange Postecoglou's system. You knew what to expect, whereas I think not being so gun-ho. I think Frank come in and he's spoken about it, and being honest, he prioritised defence. That's absolutely critical for a team who conceded as many goals as we did last season. So I think Frank's really sensible. I feel really secure and happy under his kind of tenure and him steering the ship, and I think he's steering the ship really well. I think we'll get less injuries, please don't jinx this, touch wood, this season. And I think we've done well in the window. Of course we should have replaced Son. Of course we should have not gone into the season with just 3 fit centre backs, but generally the club done well. This is the first time in my lifetime I can think of anywhere that Tottenham have had 3 strikers, and 3 good, decent levelled strikers. Of course, we can always do more, but Paulinho, Kudus, Simmons, these are all good signings. We've added mainly quality, but also depth in this transfer window. The Premier League, we've done well. The only worry I do have is like the next 7 games in 20 days are tough. They are really tough. Coming up, for example, Chelsea, Manchester United, Newcastle in the Cup, Monaco. These are just some to name a few. So we were sat now pretty in third place. And if you said to me at the start of the season, Harry, you'd be third place, 2 points off leaders Arsenal, few little bit goal difference off, I'd absolutely taken that, and I stand by that. Still would now, even in this moment. But I look back and go, yeah, we could have got more points against Wolves. Could we have got more if we hadn't made those errors against Brighton? Could we have got a draw against Bournemouth? And these are all if, buts and babies that every club and their supporters will experience. But overall, it's been a really good start, and I don't want to judge Frank on just these few games, but I think what we've seen is really exciting. It's, of course, easy to get carried away. And the only thing that is worrying, that if we go through this kind of 7 games in 20 days, even if we do okay, realistically, you probably slip down to even, let's say, 5th or 6th because of the tough run. Then fans throw the toys out the pram. Oh, we were second, we were third. That's the thing. I think fans didn't expect a lot from this season because the way we've started, there also comes this little bit of entitlement, this little bit of expectation because of the way we started, and that's credit to Frank. But it goes back to what I was saying, exciting time to be a Spurs fan. £100 million cash injection, I think, is a lot to look forward to if it's spent right. And I think Frank is the manager if you're going to give him the tools to really succeed and take nothing away from what Ange's done in these 2 years at the club, because I think he's done a fantastic job getting us 5th, winning Europa League and getting the semi-final, for example, the Carabao Cup. But Frank feels like the right appointment to soften that blow. I think he's done a terrific job. Carabao Cup as well, get the job done against Doncaster. It's going to be really tough to go to Newcastle. The Champions League, I think we've started well with a decent win against Villarreal, but again, the only worry is the games get harder. PSG, Dortmund, Monaco, they're tougher games, in particular PSG one being away from home. So we should really, I think at the start would have gone 6 points on the board we needed. We got 4, but it's all about context, because some of these results, like Wolves in particular, Bodo Glimt in particular, but even Brighton, they didn't look good. Like, if you said in advance that'd be the score, it wouldn't be good, but it's the context, is that mentality and fight back. So if I had to rate kind of our season so far out of 10, I'll give it a solid 8 out of 10. I think it's been really good. Hasn't been, oh my god, world class, but I think we've been a lot better than other teams thought we would have been. Like this year, for example, teams that we could be in a battle with, a top 4 or top 6, depending on how we go. Realistically, let's say, play it safe now and say top 6. Fans like Newcastle, I think if you ask them about Tottenham, I think they'll be secretly, and they may admit you, a little bit worried, because I think a lot of people had us down as kind of mid-table or upper mid-table, right at the, like, probably not in Europe or in the latter stages of Europe if you're going to be optimistic, whereas that's now changed and that kind of expectation shifts. But the problem is, if you don't achieve that, then people forget, where you short-term memory loss, as I kind of call it with football. But no, really happy so far. In terms of individuals that stood out, been really impressive signings. In terms of Pellegrini, I think it's been exceptional. I think all parties you'd think would be happy with how he's doing so far, and I just think having that typical number 6 that does the dirty work, the unrecognised work, and protects the defence is something we really missed under Postecoglou. He wouldn't have had one even if we did. He wouldn't have played one if we signed him one. But I think you need that for the defence. It means that you can go forward, you can put the full-backs forward, you can have overlapping centre-backs with Paulinho sitting there and trust in him. And you've got Bentancur for cover, Gray for cover, and all do really well in that kind of similar position, although I do prefer Gray as an 8. But Paulinho I've been really impressed with. Kudus just offers that something different. We knew it'd be, well, we hoped anyway, it'd be a good signing, and I think he's been very good so far. But him, it's about consistency and the end product, and he got his end product against Leeds, and consistency he's proved so far. But again, it's about the long run. I'm talking like, throughout the season at different points in particular, and it's going to get tougher. This is the real test of Spurs these next 7 games, because we will lose one of these games, we will drop points. It's inevitable. It's about the fan base, how we still unite behind Frank and the players through the tough times. We've only experienced good times under Frank so far, so we need this kind of move to be similar in a positive way when things go bad. That's the thing. You can't define players or a manager on your good periods, because look at Pep City. Last season went through some really tough times and stuck with him. It looks like the right decision at this moment in time to use as an example. But Kudus has been really impressed with. Without going too much off topic, I want to focus on him because he's done exceptionally well, and I think offered that something completely different, getting out tight spaces, taking on his man, something we lack in our wingers. I still think we needed more quality in the winger position, especially on the left hand side, but I'm really happy with Mohamed Kudus, and Johnson's not a bad option as well to have off the bench, or to offer a little bit of versatility, to offer a little bit of competition is the word I was looking for there. So no, honestly, I've been really happy. Richarlison, top scorer at the time of recording. Gray's done very well off the bench in that 8. Sarr has been the one that's really impressed me. Not being funny, I questioned at the start of the season, what's his role in the Spurs team? I'm like, he's a good number 8. He's a great box-to-box midfielder in terms of energy, legs. what's his real quality apart from energy and running? But he's really proven me wrong. He's now scoring a lot of goals, did in pre-season in particular. He's for his nation, Senegal. He's for us now, Tottenham in the Premier League slowly but surely. That's really good to see, and I just think he's got to a point now where he's almost undroppable is what it feels like. Lucas Bergwijn as well just stepped up another gear from last season. He's finding his form that we know he's capable of. So I think we have every reason to be really excited about him. Spence again, I think he's been very good this season, hence the second England call-up. Centre-backs have been really good. Romero's taken that captain's role really well. Vicario has got his fair share of criticism, but I think at times too much. So no, really happy. I think Odegaard and Tao improving game by game, or certainly will improve, and they're doing well. Tao's got that goal, hopefully it will help him with confidence, and Odegaard, I think, he's that player to grasp that left wing position, by grasp, really take that position and make it his by the scruff of the neck. But I'm happy so far. I think you'd have to be really negative Spurs fans to find too many faults. The only fault is we should have more points on the board based on performances and the fixtures in hand. So it's going to get tougher. I wager you bet we won't be third after these next 7 games, but we're going to have to grit. We have to show real determination. It's 2 games a week for the next 20 days, pretty much. It's 7 games in 20 days. That's tough. Yes, an intense schedule. That is 2 every week, pretty much. So bring it on. I think these boys are ready. We've got a little bit of squad depth behind us. We've got players to come back. You'd argue things are only going to get better, even despite the run. Like in the long run anyway. But thank you very much. That is my season review so far. 8 out of 10, solid, really happy. Great job, Frank. Great job with the team, and as fans we just have to be patient and back them when things go wrong. That's the thing I am worried about. But thank you very much for watching. Get involved in the comments below what you made of the season so far. Every opinion is valid, every opinion is important. There's no silly or ridiculous opinion on our season so far, so get involved in the comments below, and I'll definitely read it, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible, as I always do. But thank you very much, and a massive come on you Spurs.